Assalamu alaikum and welcome to today's Explainer. We're doing something pretty fascinating today. We're going to take a structured zoom-in journey together. Basically, we'll start way up at the absolute highest level of international geopolitics, looking at these massive global shifts and the fear of war. And then we'll slowly zoom all the way down to the local streets, right down to the headlines hitting your neighborhood today. So let's make sense of it all.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. Number 1, global tension between the US and Iran. 2, the diplomacy and economic impact. 3, regional security along the Afghan border. 4, Karachi's high-profile drug case. And finally, number 5, we'll wrap things up in the sports and entertainment world. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Global tension between the US and Iran. We're starting with the absolute most pressing global headline right now, which is the rapidly escalating friction in the Middle East. The geopolitical landscape is shifting incredibly fast. To really grasp how severe this is, we've got to look at the official stances. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi firmly stated that America's threatening attitude and Israel's behavior are the biggest obstacles to peace. On top of that, their foreign ministry has made it explicitly clear that their armed forces are prepared for any scenario. So lines are being drawn in the sand, and the rhetoric right now is undeniably firm.
And, you just don't have a situation involving the US and Iran without triggering a massive global reaction. Everyone is scrambling. China recently welcomed U.S. dialogue following a visit by the U.S. president, which shows this willingness to manage differences and boost cooperation. Meanwhile, over in the Middle East, the U.S. and the UAE are actively discussing how to strengthen their strategic partnerships. Plus, Saudi Arabia's crown prince has been on the phone directly with the UAE president to discuss the broader regional situation. Basically, everyone is posturing and preparing for what comes next.
Section 2. Diplomacy and economic impact.
Now, geopolitical fears don't just stay locked away in diplomatic offices, right? They hit the global economy, and ultimately, they hit our wallets. $101. That is the current price for a single barrel of WTI crude oil, and Brent crude actually spiked up to $110. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that the mere fear of a renewed US-Iran conflict instantly drives energy costs sky high. And when oil jumps like this, it sends shockwaves through the global stock markets. It impacts everything, from massive manufacturing all the way down to the price of fuel at your local pump.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of the military response to these economic threats. It's staggering. To protect international waters, specifically the supercritical Strait of Hormuz, the UK is actually spearheading a massive, purely defensive military mission backed by a £110 million investment. We are talking about a coalition of over 40 participating countries. They're deploying advanced drones, active warships, and Typhoon fighter jets. It's literally a massive defensive net being cast over one of the world's most vital shipping lanes.
Diplomatically, Pakistan is looking to step up as a key mediator in all of this. Tomorrow and the day after, an incredibly important envoys conference is happening right in Islamabad. You've got diplomats flying in from the United States, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, and Jordan. The explicit goal here is to sit down, review Pakistan's potential role as a mediator in this crisis, and draft some actionable recommendations for the government. It's a really vital diplomatic effort unfolding right in our capital.
Section 3. Regional security along the Afghan border. Continuing our zoom-in journey, we're moving from the Middle East straight to our own immediate borders. The situation on our western border is incredibly tense right now. Just listen to this stark warning from Defense Minister Khwaja Asif. Addressing the assembly, he stated quite bluntly that Afghanistan is becoming a proxy for Hindutva and that there is no difference between Delhi and Kabul. He expressed that Kabul just isn't providing the assurances needed to stop terrorism, and he warned that if Afghanistan isn't prepared to cooperate, they'll face consequences. It's a highly charged, definitive statement from the government.
But it is important to point out that, despite those really harsh warnings, diplomatic channels are still Pakistan's preferred route. They've repeatedly tried to rely on dialogue to secure border peace. In fact, they've previously engaged 3 major nations, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, to help out with these really complex negotiations with the Afghan government. So the hope definitely remains that dialogue will ultimately prevail over conflict here.
Section 4. Karachi's high-profile drug case.
All right, let's shift our focus entirely from global wars and border security, resuming right down to a really sensational, true crime, local story that is currently gripping Karachi. This involves a high-profile drug suspect known as Anmol alias Pinky. The timeline of this case honestly reads like a movie script. Back in 2022 in Lahore, police intercepted a luxury car. Now her brother, Riaz Baloch, was caught stepping out to deliver drugs.
But Pinky, she actually managed to speed off and completely evaded law enforcement. Fast forward to today, 2026, and she has finally been arrested from a flat in Karachi. Right now, she's on a physical remand with the deadline set for May 15th, while police push to investigate her entire supply network.
But get this, the arrest is literally just the beginning of the controversy. Massive hurdles and scandals are just plaguing the investigation itself. First, there's leaked audio going around of Pinky actually reassuring her clients that her business is going to continue even if she's caught. Then, you've got these wild allegations that she received VIP protocol during her court appearance, which has actually led to several police officers being questioned. But perhaps the most shocking failure in all of this, the police wrote down the wrong flat address on the official FIR. Because of that sheer negligence, an innocent family who's been renting that exact flat for 8 years with absolutely no connection to Pinky is now suffering severe mental distress and harassment. It's just a mess.
The mishandling is so severe, it's actually reached the highest levels of government. The Senate's Standing Committee on Interior officially intervened. They are demanding the complete records to figure out exactly who Pinky was supplying. And in this really surprising, dramatic twist, the committee chairman, Senator Faisal Salim, announced that he wants everyone tested. He actually volunteered to be the very first one to take a drug test himself just to set a precedent. It's one of those stories that just keeps getting crazier.
Section 5. The Sports and Entertainment World.
All right, let's take a collective breath and lighten the energy a bit. As we wrap up our Zoom In arc today, we've got some highly anticipated updates from local sports and cinema. For all the cricket fans out there, the schedule is definitely heating up. The PCB just called up players for a crucial white ball training camp at the NCA in Lahore, which runs from May 15th to the 21st. And this is all leading directly into a massive 3-match ODI series against Australia happening right here in Rawalpindi from May 30th to June 4th.
But the thing everyone is talking about? The roster choices. The PCB called up 28 players and they are bringing in some really exciting fresh blood. Test all-rounder Amir Jamal is included, alongside under-19 fast-bowling stars Abdul Saban and Ali Raza. But in a move that honestly shocked a lot of fans, Saim Ayub's name was noticeably excluded from the camp roster. It's a bold strategy for sure heading into the Australia series.
And finally, ending our explainer today on a pure entertainment note. Cinema fans, get ready. The trailer for the highly anticipated thriller film Zombie just dropped. It promises a screen totally full of suspense and thrills, starring absolute heavyweights Fahad Mustafa and Miwish Hayat. It's gearing up to hit the big screen soon, giving us the perfect escapism from these heavy news cycles. Well, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We zoomed from the threat of global warfare and spiked oil prices, all the way down to police negligence in Karachi and controversial cricket rosters. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. Of all these rapidly developing stories, which one do you think is actually going to impact your week the most? Reflect on that, keep seeking to understand the world around you, and I will catch you in the next explainer.